right, hello everyone. Welcome back. Big Time Auto Racing, Season 3, Episode 1. I'm your host, Dylon Wilson, here with my co-host, Brandon Pierce, both drivers on the Cars Tour, the Z-Max Cars Tour, that is. And we have a lot to talk about this season. We have not been very vocal on the social media networks this year so far, but that's obviously changing. This Cars Tour season's here, and surprise, we're back. So, Brandon, how you feeling? Feel good to be back on the airwaves or what?
Yeah, man, it's always good to be back on here with you. And obviously, we've had a couple people asking us, or quite a few people asking what we were going to do, and so hopefully now this gives everybody their answers. So always enjoy
Clarity
coming on here, and me and you being able to kind of have our unfiltered stance on stuff and give the people what they want. So glad to be back.
Yeah, it feels good to talk about. I mean, we got the Cars Tour to talk about. It's that time of year. You can feel it in the air. It's starting to turn a little warm. I know we've had these false warm weeks the last couple of weeks. And this past week was cold as shit. But the week before that was pretty warm. This week seems to be turning to the warm side. That's great news because obviously Cars Tour race week. So you can feel it in the air, it's starting to get a little bit warm out there. I'm really itching to mow. Brandon's probably not itching to mow. He's not as big as a fan of mowing as I am. I'm kind of a mowing connoisseur.
For good reason.
But yeah, not a fan of Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
By no means. But yeah, we've got all sorts of stuff to talk about this year, obviously. But this episode, we want to kind of catch everybody up on what we've done this off season. And then obviously our goals and what we're going to do this year on the podcast. The Cars Tour has changed quite a bit for this season. There's a lot of off-season moves, obviously, driver-wise. Some guys have moved up to the next series. The last year's champion, Butterbean, just won Daytona. He's 1-for-1 in the ARCA series. So that's cool. Obviously, I mean, that says a lot for the Cars Tour, right? He's 1-for-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of went down a series, to be honest. We're going to do a little Cars Tour preview. I don't know. I don't know why I'm saying that. Why am I saying time limits? I'm a little rusty. Here, guys. You're going to have to bear with me, okay? I'm sitting here saying our times. I ain't giving you all the time limits. But we are going to do a little Cars Tour preview, obviously. Some predictions and tracks we're excited about. The New River preview for this weekend. And obviously some stuff from last year that we want to kind of wrap up that we never really got to. So getting into it, Brandon, what have you been up to this off season, brother? You got into a couple little different kind of things as far as you just turning right and left a couple of times, doing some weird stuff. What's that weird stuff you've been up to this off season?
Yeah, man. So since we last got on here with the folks, obviously, everybody knows me and you're pretty good friends, or really good friends. So I had told Dylon that I was going to be going to do that, and I think he thought, I actually think it was one night over me and him sharing some beers. And I know that comes shocking to our viewers, but I'm gonna go drive a Mazda on a road course, and he kind of laughed it off, and next thing you know, I think it was about 2 days later, I was sending him videos. Actually, no, you stayed at my house the night before. I just remembered that.
Yeah.
I was leaving the next morning to go down there.
I thought he was lying. And, sure enough, next day, he's racing in cursive. I don't know what the hell happened.
So, yeah, went and did that with the McCumley-McAleer guys, same folks that I, of course, ran Martinsville for, and went down to Roebling Road in Savannah, Georgia, and did some right and lefts and some kitty traps because I damn sure ran off the racetrack.
You'll have that. That means he's going for it.
That's right. So I had a blast with those guys. Got to see them break out the Mustang GT Pilot car down there, which is way too much car for that racetrack, but it was still pretty cool to see that thing scream down the straightaways. And then I've done some go-karting stuff and going to continue to do that with Joe Ryan Osborne and Billy Workman Jr. and all of their folks over there. They put a program together for really anybody. I mean, Bubba Wallace has been out there with us, Blaine Perkins, Dawson Sutton, Landon Lewis, so
kind of like a place where you go and hone your skills a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean,
what those
I'll
guys
be
do.
honest. Like I told you, some of them kids, man, they're damn good.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure.
And
I'm not
it'll
saying I mean, you. I'm not saying it's this place where you just go chill at. I'm saying it's
oh yeah,
like
no, yeah, you're
Bubba's
ripping.
going
Yeah, I
there to
mean,
get better for cup races. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, and you're, everybody's going there to get better. That's really what I meant by that. But yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy.
no. So it's been fun. I've sent Dylan a couple of those as well. I mean, them Rotexes, they haul ass.
Hmm.
So that's been a lot of fun. So, but yeah, like you said, the I feel like it's almost like going to the beach. No pun intended, because obviously we are going to Jacksonville for the first Cars Tour race. But I feel like we're kind of getting that sense of like when you get excited when you start getting near the beach when you're going on vacation, and you can
Yeah,
tell the air is starting to change a little bit. That's definitely the vibe that's been blowing around in between the snow and ice the last 2 weeks, at least around these parts.
yeah. You start like your work days get longer, but
Yeah,
you start working a whole lot less hard.
yeah,
Definitely that.
exactly.
That's how I get when it comes to race week. Now,
Oh
me on
yeah,
the other hand, I'm doing the opposite because I'm wrapping people's cars and getting stuff ready to go. So I'm in full blast mode, getting ready to go. I'm obviously not racing this weekend. I guess I should address that. I didn't. I said we're Cars Tour racers, drivers. I am racing in the Cars Tour this year, and I have some plans to announce very soon. But I don't think episode 1 of Big Time is the place to do it. Maybe episode 2 will be the place. But have some plans, multiple races, multiple teams. So that's all I'll say for this episode. But anyways, it's the time is changing. Obviously, when does the time change? Next weekend?
I think, yeah, me and my wife, I think it is next weekend.
Yeah. Okay. So things are looking up. Not only is the Cars Tour racing this weekend, but the time's changing. Hickory's also racing this weekend. So the racing is back in order. You can feel it in the air. I have a 3/4 chub almost all day, every day, because we're right back to race season. I feel like a lot of you guys can agree with me on that. Some of you sick freaks out there. Moving on. Goals for the podcast in 2025. It still doesn't feel like 2025 is the correct year to say. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
it's still fucking with me too.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem right. But anyways, goals for 2025. I think we're just gonna we want to keep our Cars Tour focus, our thing. We've always had a really good time. Obviously, we're racing it, and Brandon runs full time. I'm gonna run quite a bit, and we'll be around it a lot. Most importantly, I guess, is the thing for me. If I'm not driving, I'll be at the racetrack. So, be very involved in the Car Tour, and we want to talk about it. There's multiple Car Tour podcasts out there, and I do think a lot of people are spreading a lot of good light on the tour. And I ain't saying we are going to give you the most accurate information, nor are we going to give you. Well, Brandon might. If I'm talking, you got to kind of just take it for what it's worth. It might. I might lead you a little astray sometimes, but it's all for little content here and there. But yeah, I think we're just gonna have some fun with it again. Our track ratings and stuff has kind of been our thing that we've had a lot of fun with over the last couple of years. For those of you familiar with the podcast, it very well. But if not, we always do a rating every week of the racetrack, and we have 5 different categories. And we rate it, different categories. Like, what's some of the categories we got? Everything from shitters all the way to facilities, to concessions. We got all sorts of stuff, and there's plenty of them.
Track atmosphere,
and we've kept the we've kept the stats over the last couple of years, and it's neat to go back and look at it and see how the racetracks have changed over the years. Because now that we have 3 years worth of these stats that we're keeping, it's neat to see our personal dilemmas with these tracks. And some years we hate them, some years we love them. Obviously, has a direct result of how we run there.
yeah.
But I think we've given some tracks good ratings that we've ran like shit at, and tracks that we've ran good at some pretty shit ratings before. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure last year at least 2 of the top 5 I didn't even finish.
Yeah, I mean,
and they got to get ready.
and like last year, New River got a 7.7. So, and that was a high ass score for New River. But we'll get more into New River later. But just want to kind of talk about the podcast. We're gonna do it, week by week, episode by or recap by recap, race by race, and then obviously any cool stuff that pops up in between. We'll be talking about it. So yeah, anything other than that, it kind of is what it is. You guys have heard us for the last couple of years. It's not much is changing. We're just going to keep talking about the tour and talking about other shit that happens in the meantime in our lives. And speaking about our lives, I forgot to talk about what I did this off season, and that was pretty much just raise now he's a 10-month-old. At the time, he was a 6 to 8-month-old. And that, that's a lot, being cooped up in the winter. I got to do some deer hunting.
Got absolutely skunked.
Yeah, I got skunked at deer camp. Didn't do a whole lot of shooting at deer camp this year, but a whole lot of good time having. Probably more than we've had in a long time. Just
burned a couple chairs.
Yeah, just some of those things. But we've also, other than that, just been working like hell and trying to get things in order to race a little bit more this year. So things are looking good right now, but other than that, man, I've just been pretty much laying low this off season. I didn't do a whole lot. I've been cleaning up the basement a little bit and trying to get things in motion to potentially do some renovations still, but I think I've been saying that for like 4.5 years now, and I've only lived here for 3. So that's one of those things. Anyways, off-season headlines. Brandon, you're definitely you probably got some of this in the memory bank. What's some of the biggest driver moves in short track late model racing this off-season? Obviously, Connor Hall to Junior Motorsports.
Yeah, I was going to say that was probably the one that I think, if I recall right with our viewers, well, actually I know because it was kind of the headline. Me and you were painting the picture for everybody going into Wilkesboro for championship night. That we thought maybe that was kind of in his head and could have an effect, on the outcome. And so I would say at the time that was obviously the biggest one. But, since then, there's a couple that come to mind, and then maybe even some, I guess you could say returning people. But first that comes to mind would probably obviously be Doug Barnes to LPP.
Yeah.
That would probably be the first that comes to mind.
Yeah, Doug Barnes to them, and then the 22 car had replaced Connor with
Carson
Lofton, and Cade Brown went to the RNS car. Bobby McCarty started his own team, left RNS, and went to Forrest Reynolds Chassis. So, a little bit of different deal for Bobby McCarty this year, a vet who's always a threat to win. So it'll be interesting to see how he does with his own stuff. And then what's some other moves that we're missing here?
I would say probably, got to give a shout to, Piercy getting Tristan McKee.
That's right. Tristan McKee, full-time tour, late model stock tour. Young fella, too. What's he now, 15 probably this year?
I think he's 14, ain't he? He's either 14 or 15, but I think he's 14. But anyway.
He's young.
And then not to...
Oh, he'll be 15 at Wilkesboro this year because he turned 14 last year because that was his first race. Yeah.
So, and then I guess kind of developing news, or not developing, it's developed. Sorry. We spoke about this at my birthday dinner over a good old steak on Friday night. But Donovan Strauss had announced, so that was big news, that he was going to run full-time Cars Tour, which was obviously new news. He had not ran on the tour full-time.
Right.
And then that came crashing down. I think we, as in you and I, and probably anybody else that has paid attention to that news, Donovan announced that, I believe, on Friday. And obviously the tour races this week. But it sounds like he has a ride somewhere else, but I haven't seen an announcement, at least as of today.
So it was a big move that Donovan was going to come race the tour, but then now he's not with the team he announced he's racing with. So we don't really know what's going on there, if he's still racing or not. Did it say he's racing in the announcement?
It said that he had something. I think it said to share his plans.
He had plans to share, but it didn't necessarily say he's still running the tour or whatever. I don't know. Hopefully he is. I think he'll be a good addition for sure. Let's see. What
And
else are we thinking or
I
missing
I
here?
feel like we're probably missing a few because there's been a lot of buzz around, the tour this off season
Let's
of
see.
people that were gonna. Landon Lewis is back full time with KHI. I mean, he's going to be the only car. So I mean, he did run there last year, but he didn't run full time. So he
Yeah.
is going to be. I guess you could say that. Landon competing for the championship, being
And
the full time driver.
what about Mike Darn cars? He's racing for them full time. Is there anything
Oh yeah, I'm
announced?
glad you. Yeah, so you've got obviously Connor coming back, and then Parker Eatman is
Parker
over
Eatman's
there.
going there. Does Hedgecock have a full time late model or full time
That
tour
would
team?
that would be the other news. Currently, Hedgecock Racing Chassis does not have a driver.
Oh yeah, so Bryce Applegate was with Hedgecock last year. He's with Michael Klein Motorsports this year, which is a new team. So Hedgecock doesn't have a driver right now.
They do not.
Not right now. Chad Bryant Racing does not have an entry right now. That's big news. They was a threat to win a lot last year. So Trayton Lapsevich not coming back to the tour. I believe he's racing some Canadians tours again this year. I might be wrong there, but I'm not sure exactly what happened there. But obviously, it seems like some financial issues because Trayton seemed like he was well on his way to move on beyond the Cars tour. So that was an interesting kind of deal development. At least for, I think anybody inside the Cars tour would probably agree. They expected him to do something beyond.
Oh yeah.
The tour at least that year, or at least for a year or two. But still pulling for him. He's a good guy. But yeah, let's see. Who are we missing? I feel like we're missing somebody.
Burrow announced, I think he's running the full tour. Last year, it was kind of a spotty schedule, but he did say
Same
this
team.
year. Yeah, for Sellers.
Okay.
So I mean, I think that would be the biggest thing. There's a lot of people, right, that are coming back that were sporadic last year that are saying they're going to run full time this year.
Don't Van Dyke have a full time?
Buddy Isles, yeah.
Buddy Isles, that's right. Yeah, Buddy Isles.
I still feel like there's somebody fairly that we're not. Oh, well, I get. It sounds like Junior Motorsports is going to run a second car, not necessarily full time, but
a pretty much all-star car or something.
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting and
Yeah.
word I've been hearing. Caden obviously drove it, the younger brother of Carson at the Icebreaker, had a good run there. So I would suspect he's probably well on his way of probably being in it. I would say the majority of the time.
I have a bold prediction.
All right, let's hear it.
And this can't be put out there on the internet, so you guys don't share this. I bet Cletus McFarlane will drive a late model race for Dale Jr. at some point.
You think so?
I could see that happening. I mean, that might. As I said that, I was like, that sounds kind of crazy, but
no, I could see it.
No, I think he would. I mean, he'd do good. I think. I mean, he's a damn wheel man. He's good in anything he's in. I mean, only reason I say that is because I'm a damn fan of him. I like watching his stuff, and him coming into NASCAR is kind of cool because it's two worlds colliding a little bit. I've always liked watching his drag racing stuff and just general car. He's like when I eat dinner at night, I'll turn on some Cletus McFarlane.
Yeah.
And watch him, just random old videos or whatever. And yeah, so I could see that happening, because I think Dale, I mean, at the end of the day, though, I don't know if Cletus really wants to pursue a NASCAR career. Because that's the vibe I got off the podcast. But
right.
So I don't know if he wants to take the steps necessary to become an elite NASCAR driver or whatever. But he might just want to be a super speedway guy. But that was just a random bold prediction. But anyway, besides the Junior Motorsports cars having an all-star car, I think that's got to be just about everybody. I mean, I'm sure we're missing someone, but
right.
As far as major breaking, changing teams. Are both, let's see, is McCombie racing this year in the tour?
So my understanding is, yes, they're going to have a car. I cannot tell you if Chad will be driving or Sam will be driving.
Okay.
But
I was just thinking of I was literally thinking in numbered order.
And I would suspect, and I feel like Chad's kind of held true to that deal. They're very competitive. We all are, right?
Yeah.
But Chad obviously has everything going on with his IMSA stuff, and so the way they kind of, I feel like, run that deal is they run it as long as they're in contention, and then kind of pick and choose if not.
Yeah.
Because of all that other stuff they have going on.
Lainey Bice also.
Oh, that's right.
She went to Isabella, the car that Isabella, I'm assuming, was in last year is the one that Lainey's in this year. Is Isabella running the tour? No?
I think she's full-time ARCA, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, well, good luck to her. I mean, she obviously didn't probably get what she wanted out of the tour last year, but she, I would suspect her to run pretty good in the ARCA series at some point.
Yeah.
Because she definitely had some good runs. Just seemed like she had a lot of bad luck in the tour last year. Honestly, she ran really good at Hickory and Tri-County in local shows. So I've always had a lot of respect for her. She was young when she was running good there too. So definitely good luck to her to graduating out of the tour. Obviously Butterbean leaving and going, and he won up in the ARCA series. So that was neat, and I think, like I said earlier, touching on, it was good for the Cars Tour, but it was also, I think it was I guess it was just good for the Cars Tour. I don't know how else it's, or good for late model racing is really what I mean. Good to see somebody like that. It's never really ran a damn super late model or a super speedway race and go in there and win it.
Yeah, I mean, I
it
think
was an absolute shit show, and it's the ARCA series. But either way, Butterbean won the race, and it's cool. The last race he raced was winning the championship on the tour, and then he comes in and wins Daytona. So that's neat to say for the tour.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same. I mean, obviously, people would say it's probably on a different scale, and I would agree with that. But it's kind of no different. Or, I mean, it is different in the fact that from a series standpoint, right? But like when all of us were, when Josh was getting his shot in the 12 race deal at JRM and won at Martinsville, and that propelled him to.
Remember when he got that one shot at Richmond? Like the first shot he got or whatever? Man, that was a fun one to watch. Everybody and their mother was pulling for him that night.
Yeah. And I mean, I think obviously what probably set Butterbean up for this is, I mean, people don't forget, he had a couple of truck series starts last year. Really, the only one I feel like that probably went the way he had hoped was Wilkesboro, which I think everybody felt like if the cards aligned, that's probably where he was going to run the best at.
Yeah.
And he did. He finished fourth, and but yeah, I mean, obviously, Shane Huffman and that whole deal over at Pinnacle. I mean, they've got it going on in the ARCA series. I mean, Zilich was. An absolute hot shoe last year over there. I mean, he's a driver anyway, but, he's in good stuff. And, I think time will tell, right? Butterbean himself's kind of said that. As you just said, super speedway racing's its own thing. But, when they start going to the mile and a halves and stuff like that, it'll be interesting to see where they stack up.
I think we ought to run an ARCA race or a super speedway race.
I mean, do you not remember what your mid-sentence was on that whole description about how much of a shit show?
Oh, I know it's a shit show. We're definitely going to wreck like fuck, but it'll still be fun to just do it, just to say we did it one time. What if we fucking stay way in the back like nobody does in ARCA for whatever reason? Like, what if we actually
work for Butterbean?
No, I mean, like, if you stay, I'm talking, you stay like Denny Hamlin. 2000,
like we're back there back when they could just break away from the pack, 2-car pushing.
Yeah, they're gonna wreck the whole time. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's.
And now I could care less if I ever run ARCA or not, but I do want to see Moonhead run ARCA. That's something I would like to see at some point, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, man.
I really think we should, try to get him in a Mazda at Daytona.
That'd be great. He's a Mazda MFer, that's for sure. So yeah, off-season headlines. That's pretty much all we got for that. I don't know if there's really been any aside from that. There's really changes in the Cars Tour. Nothing really.
You got a new head tech guy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hired a new tech guy, and also tires have changed a little bit. Brandon. What's the situation on the old purples?
Well, I think you beat me to it. You got to see him firsthand this past Saturday. You got any insight for our viewers? The good old F45 Star, which is what I think pretty much everybody will be on this year, or at least from what I've heard.
I didn't see them back to back versus anything, so I don't know. But they didn't blow up. Definitely.
Yeah, if they didn't blow up and they stayed together and y'all weren't like, holy shit, we lost half a second, then I say fucking
Didn't
ship
blow
it.
up, but sidewalls definitely seem pretty soft.
Soft?
Yeah.
That's a good thing, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times did me and you get on here and talk about that the fucking other ones are way too stiff?
Yeah, I
They
think
didn't have no
I
fall
think they're
off.
relatively soft.
Well, good. I mean,
So
then I'm all for it. I'm excited. I mean, we've
we'll see.
got
Yeah.
to get. It's me and you getting on here talking, me and you racing, our fans watching. We have to get back to where we can race, and like
Yeah.
by race, I mean where there's fall off.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we look like this cup car that.
This is one hell of a place to start at when you're looking for new fall off on tires. It's gonna wear them the hell out.
Yeah, I mean, but and that's the thing, right? Like, I mean,
You wanted to.
I kind of fell in the trap of that. This past year, not as much so the year that you and I were down there. So 2 years ago, where you could ride and go, and people, there was comers and goers. Last year, it was pretty much just all go because damn tire was so brick hard that even the abrasiveness
Now,
at New
by
River didn't
all
really do
go,
anything.
we are discrediting the fact, other than Landon,
Yeah.
his go, everybody else's go was about 80%. His was 110.
Yep.
And that
He
son of a bitch took
made
a lead.
he made that statement at about 10:05 in Carolina Ale House on Friday night that that's what he was going to do, and folks, by God, he did it.
Yeah,
I'll give
it
it to
worked
him.
out. It worked out. Well, it
Next
didn't
thing you
actually
know,
didn't work
caution's
out at
out.
all. It didn't actually work out whatsoever, but he did lead some laps, so
Yeah.
that counts. You'll have that. That's for sure. So as far as these tires go, that Hoosier F45 Stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the quick synopsis on, like, I mean, what is the change? Why are they called F45 Stars now?
I think personally because all of us were bitching and for good reason about the ST tire, right?
Yeah.
And I think some of us feared though that maybe all they did, because obviously Hoosier had spent a lot of money and
I
made a
guess
lot of
here's a
tires.
better question. Let's just catch everybody up in case they don't know anything about the tire situation. Obviously last year's tires sucked. The ST tires, ST2s, and all that. Brandon, you run us down a quick rundown of like switching from the F45 or the STs to the F45 Stars. What is the difference there? What is the public understanding, I guess?
Yeah, my understanding that our viewers and listeners will correlate to, folks, is this should get us back closer to what you would see Dylon and I racing when I would say as far back as 2 years ago on the Cars Tour, and then Hickory on a Saturday night. Just your normal F45 tire that, for God's sakes, we should have never got off of.
Why? So why do they do a F45, or why do they do a F45 Star and not just a F45?
Something, yeah. I don't know if I had heard. Now again, this is just here that that tire's not being made anymore. Just a regular 45. Now I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay,
but that's what I'd heard. So
yeah.
Well,
nonetheless, we'll see. I mean, obviously Hoosier is putting effort in, and they're changing stuff up. They're adding a star to the stamp. All right. So obviously there's stuff going on. So we're gonna pay attention to it, and we're gonna make sure that star produces some star racing.
Yeah, hopefully a star is born, and Matt Weaver doesn't have to come up to any of us, and by God, me and you included for sure, and ask about
hopefully
tires.
there's not a reason that Matt Weaver
And that's
has
not
to
a
come
dig
to
at Matt
Brandon.
Weaver.
He's like, God damn it, these tires suck.
Yeah, that's not a dig at Weaver. I know he gets tired of asking us, but
I know it's. I'm telling you, that's what happens every time there's tire issues. Weaver's got to interview every damn guy in the field, and ask what's wrong with them. But hopefully this year they've figured some stuff out, and we'll I have a lot of hope for it.
I do too. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, very optimistic.
Really...
I mean, the other day I went to a test at New River and watched the F45 Stars get used. There was no issues, and the sidewalls seemed fairly soft. So or not super stiff anyway. So that way we can have some good racing. So that's as far as that's what we got on tires for now. Now this is going to be race number 1 is this weekend on these tires. So we are
correct. Yeah, I've not been on them yet. Neither has Dylon.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, folks, we just were able to get our hands on these tires roughly around a week ago today, give or take.
Yeah.
So it's all very new. I can tell you, just to kind of quick little plug to our viewers, each of us or anybody that was going to run the tour was allowed to go and purchase 2 sets at their leisure to test on, like Dylon said, or get some practice laps on, because it is new to all of us. So, but this weekend, as Dylon said, will be the first time we all turn loose and throw to the wolves. And I hope you see 2 and 3 wide and people charging to the front and people falling to the back. I mean, that's what at these tire saving tracks, that's what makes them such a good race. So,
oh yeah, it's very fun. And I heard a couple people, well, not really many, but there was a couple things I seen where they were like, do you really want the first race of the year to be the one where you've got this crazy amount of strategy and like there's a lot of really low speed stuff going on? I'm like, well, it ain't like like everybody watching late model racing know there's some shit that goes on at New River and worn out racetracks. So it's not like it's news to anyone. They know it's going to be wild, and they know it could produce a crazy winner, just like Daytona does to start of the year. I think that's what they're going for. I think they're going for the beach vibe and the surprise winner vibe, because I think you can see surprise leaders, surprise winners, leaders you'll see surprised a lot more than you will winners, but nonetheless, we have seen a couple winners throughout the Andrew Reddy almost won the damn thing a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Connor Hall ended up winning that one, but that was before Connor Hall was Connor Hall. So, nonetheless, there's always been surprise. So it does have that Daytona vibe. So maybe that's what we get out of it. Maybe that's what New River becomes is that beginning of the season crazy little. So the one race they've had at Anderson, Josh Berry won that thing. And Ryan Repko sat on the pole. That race was in 2017. Your teammate Landon Huffman raced in that race. There were 17 cars in that boy. So that was a while ago. It's been a long time since they've raced at the Anderson. But cool that we're going back there. So it's not a new track, but it's only the second race ever there. And most of these drivers, actually, let's see here.
Yeah, I've never turned a lap there, so I will definitely be going to test.
Let's see. Not one single driver. Landon Huffman is the only driver in the field that's raced there, or in the Cars Tour race.
Right.
So Landon Huffman's the only Cars Tour driver that's raced a Cars Tour race at Anderson. So that's I know that stat. Just saying. So yeah, that'll be a good place to go test it. It's a fun little racetrack. I mean, I've never raced there, but it's cool. I've watched a lot of videos of it, and it looks badass. So
yeah,
reminds me of Wake County or something. But yeah, it's one of those places for sure. So maybe I'll grow some nuts and race there in August. What track are you most excited about, Brandon?
Man, I kind of want to bring a different approach
race,
this year.
I should say. What race?
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody obviously knows how I feel about Orange County, right? I've always said before I hang up the helmet, I'd love to get a win there. Obviously, that place is near and dear to my heart, and with, family history and stuff. And so that'd be big. Obviously I've won a race at Sobo. That one's always going to be close. So, I'm excited to go to Cordell. I would say that's probably the race I'm most excited / anxious about. The racer in me is definitely excited about it, and then just obviously the anxiousness is just because I've never been in there. I've never seen the place in person. I've watched races there, pay-per-views and stuff, but for me, looking at it outside, looking in, kind of just trying to look at it kind of like a bigger Florence.
Yeah.
And no, not just because of the wall that's not there. I mean, yes, that is a big part of it. But kind of looks like you hug the wall and in on entry into one, about hit it on, right there where it stops at, and then 3 and 4, I see guys kind of run kind of a mixture of lines, which I feel like that's fair to say at Florence. So,
Yeah.
but I would say probably that, and then
Cordell.
I'd say it's a toss up between there and Wilkesboro, just because I'm ready to turn my luck back around. We only ran on the older pavement at Wilkesboro twice.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was the patch job the second year, but the old new pavement, she ain't been too kind to me. So hopefully, though, we can change that stat this year.
Yeah. No doubt. I'd say races I'm excited about. I mean, obviously Wilkesboro, but specifically probably Wake County.
Yeah, that's what
Wilkesboro.
Langley.
Nah. I mean, it is a badass race to watch. I would say I'm excited about.
No, I messed up. I meant to say her long lost Virginia sister, Dominion.
Oh, Dominion. Dominion is a nice little place too. Yeah, shit. I mean, obviously Wake County, Wilkesboro is two of the, that we're most excited about. But I mean, there's a.
Give our viewers and myself, give me a shocker here.
Like Wake County, I'll give you a few I'm excited about in particular. 6 of them I'm excited about. Wake County, Wilkesboro, Caraway, Hickory, Tri-County, and the second Wilkesboro race I'm also excited about. So those races in particular I'm pretty excited about. But yeah, other than that, I mean, they're all obviously, there's not really a race that I'm not looking forward to Ace. I could really give two shits about it. But I would love to watch it. If I was racing in it, I wouldn't be very excited. But I will be excited to watch it. You like Ace?
No, don't even start that shit.
You like Ace a lot.
Nope.
Like it more than me. Goddamn, I can't even stay on the lead lap 10 laps into the son bitch. And
me and you share the same about there and Caraway pretty much.
About 20 laps in that son bitch, I thought about climbing that red gate going in the corner and exiting my day early. That way I could get out of there and go drink beer with the fucking boys on the back stretch. Yeah. But unfortunately, I had to run all 125 laps of that shit show. Actually, 123, because I'm pretty sure I went 2 laps down. I don't know, maybe it was 1. But yeah, so that would be the only one I wouldn't be looking forward to. Other than that, man, like I said, I think they really hit the. I'm not trying to keep repeating myself here, but I think they hit the nail on the head with the schedule this year. It's pretty badass. No, I think
I think it's a great schedule, and like I said, I'm a fan too. Like obviously, yes, there's probably arguably you could say tracks that don't have a second date this year that have put on some really good races, and that would be true, right? But I think then that just from a fan standpoint or a viewer standpoint, and then definitely as a racer standpoint, it just adds that much more emphasis to when that date is at that track. Obviously Tri-County always puts on a great race. Ace can put on great races, is there
any tracks that you were disappointed to not see on the schedule that you thought might be on there? I think there was definitely a rumor of Nashville Fairgrounds that everybody was kind of thinking. That was one that I was kind of disappointed.
That was a rumor, and then man, and me and you've kind of talked about this just hanging out. And I know it's still very new, right? And it does seem like they are going to get to run some races this year. I haven't checked on it in a couple weeks, but last I had heard. But I've always been curious about, because I never got to see it, and obviously it was, I think, had went under before I started racing late models, but Newport. After seeing all the work in there. I think they need to prove
yourself a little bit first, though, right?
Yeah, and then I would tell you if it were me, and if I had money to do this, like if I had hit the lottery or was in real estate or whatever and could own a racetrack, I would love to open up. And I don't care if this pisses people off.
A strip club.
I'm gonna I'm gonna call it for what it is because that's what I always knew it as, and I think it's one of the greatest racetracks around the southeast is Motor Mile. You know, that's to me that's
I agree. It's a great racetrack. I mean, it's a badass little place and very
I
symmetrical.
mean
And
you can absolutely drive the shit out of a race car at that place. I mean, it is just fun. That's probably some of the most fun I've ever had in a race car.
would
I
you
mean, because you
consider
can
it close to Tri County or no?
no,
Not at all.
no,
What would you
no,
consider
because
it
like
close to? I mean, I've never been there.
um, shit.
Nothing really. Just kind of has its
No,
fill of its
yeah.
own.
I mean, well, to give you
What
because
about
you've never ran a
surface?
lap
What
there,
about
right?
surface wise? What's it close to? Tri County.
Uh,
It's pretty dripped up, ain't it?
yeah, it's pretty gripped up. Yeah. I would say, or maybe even like Carrot. Well, it's
Caraway and
probably
Ace is like in a weird transition period.
yeah. Um,
They're like falling off from good to shit, which is, in my opinion, shit is good.
yeah, no, yeah, and I mean you could get somewhere at Motor Mile for sure, but like so for you, like driving, I would say banking wise, something similar to like Kinley. I mean, because you could really, especially in 3 and 4,
So
when
it's
you
got
really
some
puppy
damn
that thing.
bacon.
Yeah.
I
Oh
didn't know. I
God, yeah.
didn't know it had bacon like that.
Yeah, 1 and 2. I mean, like, and I'm sure you've seen it, right? Like, I mean, Pulliam and Morris, they used to put on some absolute just haymakers
Yeah.
there. And I mean, when I went there, now granted for me, I mean, I was running for Pulliam, right? So like, I mean, he ran the apron there. I mean, like all four on the flat.
Yeah.
And that's how he just, murdered people. Keep that thing hung out to the wall and shorten up the corner.
Right.
Back in the gas early, but that's
That would
that
be a cool
I
place.
I was
I like
hoping,
that.
and the reason I say that there were some rumors that the town and stuff was getting back involved and it was going to open back up, and then that has since, I think, over December,
Took a
November,
shit.
December. Yeah, so I wish that would have been on there, right? But I mean, the tour they did try to go in there, and fan attendance was always a struggle there, unfortunately, which sucks because, like I said, I feel like it puts on really great racing.
Yeah.
So that would probably be mine, and then obviously Kinley, everybody kind of I think knows the deal with there, but that one's always going to obviously be a little sentimental to me because I got my first win there, and I do think it's a cool racetrack, but it didn't surprise me to see it not on the schedule.
I wish I could go back there. I feel like now that I've raced there one time, I wouldn't feel like a complete fucking idiot, and I could like maybe make a lap or two and I pass.
Yeah, it's a fun place to drive.
Yeah. So, I would have liked to. I mean, Nashville Fairgrounds would have been cool. That's a long drive, obviously, but I think, like I said, I think they kind of hit it on the head. I mean, anything they missed. I mean, like I think they. Shit, I mean, I don't know. I don't really think they necessarily missed anything. I think 15 dates is the number they needed to be, and I don't think there's really a track on there that doesn't necessarily need to be on there for sure. I mean,
Right.
you might be. I think 15 is the max number of races the tour needs to have. So
Yeah.
now is the point where we need to start figuring out like which of these tracks need to be switched out and which of them are perennial or year after year never change them. We're going to stick with them tracks, and then some tracks it's okay to change out every couple of years. I think that's it's part of it, right? Like some tracks will age out and age in and whatnot. So
Right.
see a little bit of that here and there. So yeah, I as far as New River this weekend, one worn out racetrack. Over the past couple of years, we've gave it pretty high scores. It's been one of the only tracks in the 7s for 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
In the category of I think 2 or 3, I think with that. So, New River 7.0 year one, 7.7 last year. Obviously, last year I didn't race. Landon scored it, so he probably fucked the score up a little bit. But 7.7, 7.0, probably gave it a little high of a score being a rookie, but with the scoring system. But I do think I think that's pretty accurate, dude. It's a pretty badass place. I mean, 7.4 average, I guess. So, or 7.3.
Yeah, and I mean, me and you are, we've talked about it. They kind of have it's kind of like a trackside, not trackside deal there. Like, but with me and you've always, like, anybody that's ever tuned into Btar knows with me and Dylan, if you have trackside parking or where fans can set up lawn chairs,
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna definitely
I have to
raise
be
your
honest,
store.
man. The only thing that New River is missing, the only thing that's missing is
Mhm.
fans. Is like a big fan turnout. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but we did have the Dale Jr. effect last year.
He didn't race there last year, did he?
Mm-hmm.
No.
The tour race. Yeah,
I don't think he did.
that's who Landon wrecked with.
In the damn tour race?
Yep.
I thought that was like at Florence or something. Are you sure, dude? I don't
I
remember
promise.
that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why I don't remember him racing in that.
We'll have to throw
I
a
mean,
little clip on
I
here.
guarantee you're right. I mean,
We'll have
not
to throw us a little
guarantee,
clip
but
on here.
damn.
Lando went to the whole lead, and then the old hook, line, and sinker had been set, and we were reeling back in. You know, he was starting to kind of come on back, and that's when him and old Junebug came together.
Huh. Yeah, I'm telling you, for some reason, I just do not remember him racing in that last year, but yeah, I finished 14th. I don't remember that. So how was the fan turnout last year with it?
Oh, fuck. I mean,
I wasn't there last year, obviously.
yeah, they started turning people away.
The reason I wasn't there last year is because my kid was born 7 days before this fucking race. That's why I don't know anything about it.
So
Probably didn't even watch it.
Yeah, they started turning people away. They were parked. You know, you're very familiar where the drag strip is.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's where they were having to park cars.
I remember this deal now. All right. Again, forgive me, everyone. My kid was born April 7th. This race was April 13th last year.
McCarty won.
Yeah, McCarty won. I forgot all about this race. McCarty, Tyrell, Connor Hall, top 3. Brandon, last year, you finished 19th. What the hell happened?
Yeah. Dude, we were terrible.
We just sucked. Is that what happened?
Yeah,
Landon finished 24th. Oh, that's the one he led. Hell, the son of a bitch led. How many did he lead? 33 laps.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I love it. This year, the thing is, if you're not good, just go lead it. Fuck it.
Oh, yeah.
Last
year, trust me, I would have loved to have tried to, but I couldn't get there.
Yeah, well, no, I feel that. But, yeah, either way, last year's race, I do not remember. I don't remember that race at all. I mean, you're going to have to damn fill them in a little bit. How was it last year, saving-wise and stuff? You said earlier it wasn't near as much saving, but Landon, obviously.
Well, what I meant is like riding back there didn't do anything for you because there was no fall off. So, like, obviously went into the mindset of having that strategy. But with that SC2, it just didn't fall off. So you were actually just losing the track position. Because when you went to go,
where do you think the ideal place to qualify is? 10th? 9th?
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would say probably regardless of the tire, that puts you probably 6th to 10th. I'd say you're in the sweet spot.
Yeah, I think so too. Just because you're going to have to be able to set a pace, but also you need to be up there.
You want to be close to something. I mean, me and you've been doing this long enough.
What if they fall off like mother effers this year? You know what I mean?
Then I think you'll probably see your eventual winner hang out around 10th.
That's what I'm saying. We could see a super crazy weird winner.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to say this. I'm not sure you'll see the race one from starting outside the top 10.
Yeah.
But I feel like me and you said, like, I feel like that's just kind of a Cars Tour stat anyway, right? Like, we're talking about the Cars Tour. Like, I'm not saying it can't be done, but I think you would have to, somebody that's like really good would have to have, some kind of a mishap, and we're all human, right? So it can happen, but have some kind of a mishap in qualifying and step on it and qualify like shit.
Yeah. What have they put out the entry list yet? I don't guess so.
They have not.
So it'll be what are you expecting number wise? I'm gonna set the over under for this year's. So last year we had 25 cars.
Well, I mean, you were down there Saturday, and there was 15 late models and 71 legend cars. So
I was talking with Brandon Saturday. He was like, he was texting me and saying, "How many cars are down there testing?" I said, "Hell, there's damn 15 of these son bitches here. You should have brought your shit, brother. Should have brought your shit. You gonna be behind, but it wasn't. It wasn't nowhere close to that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Going to be a crazy little weekend.
I'm gonna say I think we'll probably have 30 cars. That's my guess. I'm gonna say 30, just
Really?
because there's been people. I have been tuning in to the good old Anthony Goodyear Facebook Lives on the racetrack page, and I mean, the people have been burning it up testing down there. I mean,
Right.
if it's been a nice day, there has been race cars at that track. So
I'm gonna set the over under.
I mean, there was 4 or 5 down there today. Both LPP cars were down there today. Bassett was down there. Jake Bowman.
I'm gonna set the over under at 28, and I'm taking the under. 28.5. I'm taking the under.
Okay.
Just because last year was 25, you said 30, so I'm gonna set it right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take the under. I think there's gonna be honestly, if I could guess, I think there's gonna be about 26.
Well, yeah. I mean, my take is that I feel like it would be 30. It could be north of that, but I genuinely think we'll have a full field, which is 28. So
yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I think it'll be definitely very, very close to that. But I could see it being slightly under, and that's nothing to do with the Cars Tour falling off. That's just because it's just that race is on the coast, and you're only going to see the people running full time to run that race, and it says a lot that 24, 26, 28 of them even are showing up to that, because that means that many people are even considering running full time, because otherwise they wouldn't even go run that race outside of 2 to 4 local guys that go racing because they have a shot to win it. So yeah, man, it's a fun race to watch. Cause like I said, it's kind of like our Daytona, as far as it's our super speedway race as far as the random crazy factors and shit that you see happen. So, be the one race that you might want to watch. You'll see some random stuff happen, maybe random people lead and stuff like that. So, who knows? Tune on in.
So predictions: do we? And I know me and you, we made a pretty good fun segment out of this. I felt like last year on our episodes. It's hard to. I got to figure out how to word this because it would be a new winner, right? Because it's a new season, but that's not how I'm trying to really phrase it. Or let me rephrase that then. I guess. Do we have a repeat winner or a past winner at New River? And so obviously of the past winners that we know are going to be in the field, that would be Bobby McCarty or Connor Hall, because obviously Butterbean has won there, but he won't be in the field.
No, I think we have a new winner.
Think so?
Yeah, I do. I guess Connor could definitely win. Obviously, I can see Bobby winning too. I mean, he won last year, but that'd be a tough odd to make as far as the betting lines go. I mean, because it'd be tougher than you'd think to take that, because those two guys could definitely still win. But yeah, man, I do feel like this could be being it's the first race of the year and there's a lot of unknowns involved. I think that hurts guys like Connor Hall and Bobby, just because you could see some crazy shit happen. You know what I mean? People don't care as much at the start of the year. Some do, some don't. You'll see some guys just go absolutely send it. And
I can tell you who, if he's in the field, and I know this makes me sound like a POS because I'm racing in it, but if he's in the field, I'd probably put some decent skin on Connor Jones.
Yeah, I mean, he won. Did he not win there? He won the Battle of the Stars last year.
Yeah,
won the Battle of the Stars last year.
And I mean, he always
Connor
runs.
Jones, I'm sure
he always runs good there.
I'm sure he'll be in it. So yeah. Damn it, man! He took my pick.
I think you're pretty good with who we were talking about before that too. Like if somebody said Connor Jones and Connor Hall versus the field, you'd probably say okay.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that pick. I'd be all right with taking. I'd be all right with betting against the field at that point, for sure. But there's just we don't know, man. That's the beauty about a new season. You don't know who the new favorites will be. Like last year, we didn't know that. We never.
I'm going to say that I think we have another photo finish.
I can definitely see that. Now, being it's
or some kind of or what I mean by like, because like the Bassett and Butterbean thing, that wasn't really a photo finish. I mean, it was until it wasn't, right? Like until the contact out of 4 up the hill. But
Right.
I think the race. I guess how I should have said that. I think it will come down to the last lap.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. I think there's going to be some action happening in the last lap. Or a slide job or a big move job or something along those lines, because there's always something close to that going on. But yeah, man, I could definitely see some crazy shit happening. So New River, Saturday, hot race in action. What time you thinking we starting the race, Brandon? You know yet?
They're telling us 8:30, but as you know, brother, I wasn't too wrong last year.
The pro late models are racing too.
I'm gonna say 9:15.
The pro late models are racing too. I don't think there's a curfew problem at New River, so.
By gosh, there shouldn't be.
So yeah, I think we're good to go there, and we can always hit up a vape shop or anything like that. A vape shop, tattoo parlor, or a bar. There's plenty of
Carolina
those
Ale House, yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of those down there in the
Got a good old First Watch for breakfast.
Yeah, plenty of stuff down there in Jacksonville. Yeah, well, I guess we'll just see you guys down there. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 1 of season 3. We have several more episodes, I guess 15 or so more planned, depending on how the Cars Tour season goes, and hoping we don't have a bunch of rainouts or any crazy shit like that. Last year I feel like we used up all the rainouts we could have. We had a lot, especially Wilkesboro week. All we're doing this year is just hoping we just have a nice dry Wilkesboro. Knock on wood. Just knocking on wood. But yeah, man, final thoughts other than just, I think New River is going to be fireworks. And I do think there's going to be, like you said, there's going to be some last lap theatrics, I'm sure. Especially with the tire saving track like that, and a lot of games going on, and it just screams that there's going to be something happening at the end. But yeah, man, just decided to get this season of podcasting going. I got some racing plans to announce very soon. I don't exactly know when, but definitely over the next week or two. So I'll keep everybody updated with that. But other than that, Brandon, what any final thoughts?
Oh man, I'm just obviously glad to be able to run the tour again full time this year, and like I said, there's some other opportunities like yourself that I may have that aren't fully pen to paper yet, but I've got some other opportunities. Maybe a couple Mazda starts and stuff like that. Just not too sure yet. That's kind of going to all depend on how the tour season goes, because obviously that is my main priority. So, but. Glad season's back here. I've pretty much used up all my time and sanity that I had left on the off weeks. It's time to get back to racing for sure. And, nice to make a little getaway out of it down to old Jacksonville, North Carolina, right off the bat. So looking forward to seeing everybody down there.
It's that time of year, folks. This is Cars Tour racing season. And this time we're heading down to Jacksonville for it. So pretty neat little opener, I think. We'll be down there. I think this season of podcasting we're gonna have some cool guests. I think maybe coming up. I don't know exactly how this race will go yet. I can't predict the future, but if anything crazy happens, we might seek them people out. Maybe a winner. Maybe whoever wreck somebody, maybe whoever gets in a fight. I don't know. We'll just see. See what happens. And maybe me and Brandon are just here and dissect it. But nonetheless, we'll be here. We'll be here giving you a rating, see if the New River can hold its 7 standard. I think its average over the last 2 years is about 7.4. So pretty solid racetrack we're going to for sure. Any fans out there listening that are considering going, I'd say go. It's going to be badass. I know it's a little bit of a haul down there, but honestly, it's kind of a scenic ride. There's a lot of shit going on in that, not really a lot of shit going on, but there's a lot of cool stuff to look at. I feel like I enjoyed the ride. So if you can spare a few hours of your day to go watch a race on Saturday, I recommend going to Jacksonville, North Carolina, and watching the Cars Tour race at New River Speedway. It is, I believe, called the National Dodge Jeep Ram 125, maybe. Definitely a Chrysler dealership style. But National 125 at New River on Saturday. Catch it. It's going to be on Flow Racing, obviously. If you can't go to the racetrack, it'll be on Flow. And the boys will be back in action. Eric and Blake will both be calling the races again. And that'll make a grown man cry. It's good to see them boys back in action. You know, some of the best. It's like watching DW and Larry Mack and Mike Joy back in, you know what I mean? Just like catching them back in the real days. Feels the same way. It's like you know, the same feeling you had before Daytona Speed Weeks. That's what I feel like right now.
Oh yeah.
Except for we're going to smoke vapes and do get tattoos in Jacksonville instead of Daytona. Jacksonville, North Carolina, not Florida. That is. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Nonetheless, everyone, it's been a fun little episode. We'd like to give a special shout out to all of you guys that supported us through all of these for the last couple of years. Obviously, we've done quite a few episodes at this point, and this is season 3 of them, and we're getting better. And I do think that we've gotten kind of to our we've got a lot of cool plans. I'll just say that. And we've I wouldn't say we've reached our best form, but I do think we have some pretty cool episodes coming up for sure. So I look forward to them and can't wait to see you guys next, after New River, and see how these tires shake out, see how these Hoosiers play out, and see how obviously see how Brandon does, and see then we'll preview Wake County and talk a little bit more about that. So enjoyed talking to you guys. It's been a little while. Subscribe and like if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening on a podcast, please rate it, review it, 5 stars. Tell us how it changed your life and how good of a show it is and how positive and beautiful people we are and how you would recommend your wife, daughter, mother, or cousin date us. Or marry us at some point, because we sweet love talking band. We have podcasters. So like, subscribe, and rate, and give us a review, 5-star moment. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time. Good time.